Now, welcome back, and now it's time to talk with head baseball coach Jared Hood. Now, Coach Hood, we have some things we need to get into, but before we do that, we personally want to congratulate you because you reached a milestone this past weekend, picking up your 100th win as ETBU head coach, and you only did it in 4 seasons. So that, I mean, I don't know that we should congratulate you, or just you should congratulate the ball players that you had over the years for getting you the win.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, Kenneth, is just being fortunate enough to be able to be a part of, what we've been able to establish here. Coaches, we're not magicians by any stretch of the imagination. It's about getting the right type of kids in that believe in the vision that you're selling. And we've been fortunate enough here to have some really quality individuals come through the program and end up being pretty fine ball players. 100 wins, that's cool, that's great. But it really goes out to, the passion and the love for the game that these kids have had and in the past and currently, that they have for the game and just their dedication to playing quality baseball. So I'm appreciative of them, I'm appreciative of my staff, current staff, past staff, because they really do all the dirty work that nobody gets to see. But yeah, so it's a good thing for the program, and for us to be able to do it in 4 years, I think that shows that we're doing things the right way.
And just talking about the resiliency of your team and what you guys were going up against this past weekend, you went up to Abilene and you battled the Warhawks in 3 very tight games. Zach Gardner had the big home run to win the game for you guys on Saturday in that first game. So just talk about kind of the intensity of that game and in the moment. And, with Zach Gardner has been solid all year for you guys at bat.
Yeah, Zach, he's been grinding away, and and he's had a couple of weeks of some tough at bats, and still managing to get hits and get on base. But he finally started barreling some stuff up, and then that just shows that kid's resiliency and his work ethic to continue to battle, and his leadership on our ball club. And Abilene, I mean, this weekend, 30, 35 mile an hour winds, and those guys can just flat out hit, and the 3 ball games that you talk about, I mean, we really controlled the pace, of all 3 games. And, in the last inning of every game, they made a push, and to their credit, they never gave up, and they kept fighting us and putting us in, in tough positions, and and they got us on game 3. So, hats off to them, but they're a good ball club. And, when you add the weather factor in there, it's a crazy game. Anything can happen at any time.
Now, of course, this week you're back home for your final home series against the University of Ozarks, which obviously means it'll also be senior day. So you have a couple of guys that are departing after this year. But just kind of talk about the emotions that might be going into this weekend, obviously, because you're still in the thick of a conference tournament race. But, when you got that going on and also senior day, just kind of talk about the emotions going into it.
Well, when you talk about the seniors that we have this year, we've got 3 of them: in Jordan O'Bannon, Cody Pierce, and Chandler McElroy. Chandler's a kid that he's been to a couple places and decided to come spend his last year of eligibility here with us. And I think he's really grown as a person, grown as a ball player, and he's just really a joy to be around. Cody Pierce, kind of the same thing. He was kind of a traveler at the beginning of his career. Has battled some injuries through the years and everything, but the kid just continues to be a leader on the field, off the field. And then Jordan O'Bannon, a 4-year player for us, a kid that didn't see a whole lot of action for the first couple of years, and just to see his maturation process through his time here. And how much better he's gotten because of his work ethic and his desire to be a part, and his desire to want to impact the team. So for these guys, you're talking about your last home series, ever in the regular season. Hopefully it's not their last games that they'll play. bearing our conference tournament. We've got UT Dallas the next weekend, but the things that they've helped us accomplish, will never be forgotten, and I'll always be appreciative of those guys.
And just speaking of, you're talking about the ASC tournament coming up for you guys. You're battling an Ozarks team that is also kind of jockeying for that position. I believe there's 6. You guys are right there at 7. So it's going to be an intense game. What are some of the things you expect out of your unit here as the season starts to kind of wind down for you guys?
Well, we're really kind of coming into our own as far as the offense goes. Pitching and defense has been pretty strong for us all year, but we're starting to come into our own as an offensive club and really starting to try, kind of hit our strides here. But yeah, I mean, so us and Ozarks are right there at the same. They're going to be a good club. Coach Gentry, since he's gotten there, has just done some unbelievable things with that program. And they've got some guys that can play, so we can't worry about what they're going to do. We can't worry about the teams that are behind us because we've got some guys nipping at our heels. But I'm a firm believer as long as we look at ourselves and control our game, that we're going to be just fine. So I anticipate a good series, a hard-fought series. So it's going to be fun to be out there this weekend, that's for sure.
All right, Coach, best of luck to you this weekend as you take on Ozarks this Friday, Saturday, or possibly what game's changing, but we'll never know. We'll just take a moment. We'll be right back for our next head coach in just a moment.